Hello. Today I wanted to talk about the foundation for really deep and, I guess, true healing. What is the foundation for true healing to take place? And true healing meaning also remembering who you are. Like to heal from what you were, so that who you were meant to be, who you are, can truly start to take place. The foundation for this should be the same foundation as when a woman is giving birth. For the body to really function properly and for someone to really be able to persevere and face pain properly, you need to be truly safe and truly, not distracted by any, danger or toxicity or responsibility that is not yours to own for the moment. You need to be really undisturbed in a safe environment, so your body can truly understand that now you can let go and you can focus at the task at hand, which is when you give birth, is obviously to let the body do what it's supposed to do to give birth. But in other contexts, the task is when everything else is let go of and you're safe, the task is to focus on you, on yourself. But if you're still distracted by any unhealthy attachment, when you then in that environment try to focus on yourself, the healing won't be as deep and you won't be able to remember truly who you are if you're still attached to unhealthy attachments for you, unhealthy bonds. And this is what I was talking about in the other video about letting go of old bonds and swimming in new rivers. And I talked about work, relationship, and life context and so on and so forth. For true healing to truly take place, you need to let go of all the unhealthy bonds, the unhealthy attachments, so that you are more clear with doing the work, with feeling your feelings not mixed up with anything else, with toxicity from a past relationship or from norms and pressure from society or from pressure for workplace. Then the feelings that come or the healing that comes will be, too mixed up with other things, and it won't be as efficient. And I always also say this about people taking psychedelics. Psychedelics, again, can help you to, truly open up your mind, and new pathways can be taken in your brain, and you can start to truly, understand what life is about and who you are, and become more free in yourself. However, if you, after having a psychedelic a journey of some sort, you then go back to the life that is still pulling you down or is still restricting you, the psychedelic journey will be not of much use. Then it will be a bypass. You won't be able to, really be clear of the distractions in your life that is restricting you and take the difficult but necessary steps toward creating the life for you that you want. The psychedelic journey will then just be, an unnecessary event for your brain to open up just to then get closed again. So actually, if you get aware of what is restricting you and what is pulling you down and what is distracting you and what is narrowing your life, your mind in your life, if you get conscious about that, and then if you know and you get the courage to take steps to let go of what is narrowing you down, then you don't need a psychedelic trip, because that in itself is the psychedelic trip. That's the trip, that's a journey. That what is opening up your mind is letting go of the attachment that doesn't serve you. And basically that is what a psychedelic can do, that is letting go. It's of the attachments, of the pathways, of the default mode in your brain, and it's opening up new pathways. But you can do this in your life. You can create your own psychedelic journey, if you will, or your own life-changing transformational journey by understanding what is restricting what is my default mode in my life, what is restricting me, and what does it take for me to to be more free, to take the steps to be more to step into my own, to remember who I am. And well, this is the tricky part, because you heard about Stockholm syndrome. Like if someone is kidnapped and then they get empathy for the perpetrator and they basically don't want to leave the kidnapper, and maybe they created their own safe space as a kidnap, so maybe they don't want to be rescued. And this is very human reaction. Like wherever we are, we create our own safe space. And I listened to an interview. There were these Swedish journalists that were kidnapped in, where was it? Ethiopia, I think, years ago. And I listened to an interview with one of them, and they were in prison, and they were waiting to get a trial, so that they could, potentially be free to go back to Sweden. So they were in this prison, this cell, and they then organized, tried to design the cell as comfy as possible. Like, this is the bed, and this is where we go to the toilet, and this is where we sit, and so on. And this is very common behavior. Like if you're kidnapped as well, you try to, make a home wherever you are. Like even though you're in a small room and you're frightened, that's human. Animals does this too, of course. They try to make a home, so that something to feel safe with, or something like a structure around them. So anyway, this journalist in the prison, they had a safe place in this cell, and then every now and then they got the news, in a week there will be a trial. So that obviously gave them hope. They've started to feel hope. And then a week passed, and then they got to know, no, there will be no trial this time either. And then the journalist that was interviewed, he said, so the worst thing in life is hope. And he said that because hope sort of gets you out of your current reality. But if your hope, gets damaged, or if it, doesn't get met, then it will be so much more difficult to persevere in the prison that you are in. So I agree with that. Yes, of course. Like if you sort of live in a prison but without knowing it, then you're not suffering. Then that's your reality, and then you get a glimpse of something else, and you want it. But in this case, they didn't get it, and then that's worse. Then you know that you can have something else, but then you have to go back, and of course, then you're gonna feel worse than before. And that's also like in people who want change or they do therapies. Sometimes people feel worse when they start to feel hope, because then also past feelings gets triggered that they don't want to deal with, but also they get insecure if they actually can follow that hope and do something for themselves. And then many actually, they don't. They retreat. They go back to the prison that they are miserable in, but they are safe. And I touched on this in other videos, how difficult it is to change, because the past environment feels a lot more safe, of course. And again, you see this with Stockholm syndrome, people who got kidnapped as well, that sometimes it can be difficult for them to actually leave or to press charges on the kidnappers, because they felt, well, this person took care of me. And again, it's the same in toxic relationships and in grooming, that when someone also created like a structure for you, even though it wasn't meant to be the structure, you didn't choose the structure, but they created some sort of safe and homey feeling. They maybe took care of you, gave you food, even though for someone to give you food, it's not something you should be overly grateful for. But in the context of being kidnapped, and when you're hungry, then when someone gives you food, of course you're overly grateful. So that's the problem. When the necessities, or when the environment is still like lacking a lot and you're scared, and then you get grateful for whatever. So that's what happens with Stockholm syndrome. The kidnapper gives you food, or in the toxic relationships, your partner is like giving you a warm glance, like twice in a week, and then you get very happy, like, oh, I'm so grateful for this person, because the normal state is just death. The normal state is like neglect and nothing. You get nothing, so then you get really, really happy for the little parts. And also we see this in dogs who's been, in a cage, who's been like in a prison. When you open up the cage, they're not going to go and run out and be all happy and free and, this is what I've been missing, and now I'm free. No, they're going to like be suspicious and sniff and not, sure if they want to go out. Maybe they want to stay in the cage because this is home now. This is safe. And to go out go outside, you don't know what's going to happen. Will someone hurt you again? And it's dangerous. And this is better. And also it's the same with humans. Some criminals actually like it better in prison because then it's a structure and it's routines and, they know what they're going to get. Then they know that, when they get out there, it's life, freedom is too much. It's too overwhelming. So maybe they like it better to be locked in unconsciously. Maybe not consciously, but, unconsciously So they go out and they do shit again. They do some criminal things again so they can be locked in again. That's one way to see it anyway. So then again, anyway, this is very human behavior, and also dogs do this. That's when we've been in prison physically or mentally and we get the offer to walk out. It's not evident that we're going to take the steps actually. And I talk a lot about this, the process of change, the factors of change, how extremely difficult it is. I don't want you to underestimate what it takes from you to actually change from the ground and up, to really walk out of your own prison, or of a relationship prison, of a societal prison, of a workplace prison, of a school place prison, or whatever it is. It does take a lot. But when you do, it will be like a psychedelic journey. Then you don't need, to do something else, to inflict something else to you, to open up your mind, because to let go of burdens and take steps to your freedom, that in itself will open up your mind. So that's what I'm saying. And that's also what I started thinking about when I worked as a therapist for a couple of years. I thought, well, what's the use of this? We can sit here and talk about things, and we can sit here and the patient can have a lot of emotions. But if the patient is still in the same life that made it miserable from the beginning, what's the use? What's the use of you sitting here and talking and feeling if the person is still in the same life? And if it's actually the life and the factors in the person's life that is making him or her miserable. And that's maybe another topic for video, like therapy, like efficient or inefficient therapy, like just talking about things but without, clear change, like when you really change your life with actions, not only like feeling better, because that's like a pseudo change, I would say. That's just coping. If people go to therapy and they start to feel better, but without actually making a change in their life, I would often say that's pseudo change. That's coping. Yeah. Then they have better coping mechanisms in how to deal with their lives. And again, now my brain goes off to another association, but I let it go, that path, because I come to think of, what I said in another video about anxiety. So anxiety is a signal that something is off in your environment. And what do we do with anxiety? We give you medication, or the psychologist, the therapist give you a lot of coping, like give you a lot of techniques just to calm yourself down. And of course you have the right to calm yourself down. Anxiety is no fun thing. But if you do it without thinking about, why am I anxious? What factors in my life is making me anxious? Anxiety is a alarm signal that something is off. So if you calm yourself down, that's horrible. Then you don't listen to your body and to really listen. What is the anxiety trying to tell me? What's wrong in my life that I need to change in order to feel better? So if you then go to therapy and just learn how to cope with your anxiety, then you haven't solved the problem and you still live the same life. So you should do both. You should listen to your anxiety. What is it that I want to tell you? What can you change? Change your life. And then you can have techniques for anxiety. And it's the same thing with depression. I'm suppressed in my life. Like if you just take some medication to feel better, or you just activate yourself to be more happy, but you don't change anything, that's so inefficient. I mean, you deserve a lot better. And I think, you should go to a therapist who understands this. Otherwise, it's just coping. And, that's a waste of your life, and that's a waste of your time. And we need people in this society who are more awakened and who are more, cooperating with each other to create a life that is good for them, for us. Yeah, in order to take the steps out of your prison, in order to truly let go of what is bringing you down, it takes a lot of awareness, as I said before, and a lot of courage. And now I want to talk about, so say that you have taken the steps, because I talked a lot about before how you take the steps. If you have taken the steps out of the cage, and this can be then relationship, workplace, marriage, relationship, country, educational system, whatever, you are letting something go that is not good for you. You figure it out. It's not good for me. This kidnapper situation, I'm thankful for it, because it's okay to be thankful. It's okay to be thankful for the prison. Just saying, you don't have to be angry. You don't have to be angry about this prison. Because you know what? You were meant to be in this prison. It taught you something. So that's very important. Do not be angry at the prison. And you can be, in the beginning, of course, but eventually it's okay to be grateful or understand how difficult it is to leave. Why is it difficult to leave? Because the kidnapper also gave you something. You learned something about yourself. And this is, again, about karmic relationships or karmic environments or life, that everything was supposed to happen to teach you a lesson and you're stuck until you understand what lesson is it that I'm about to learn. And when you understand that, that's when you walk out. So you walk out and you expect, so if this is you just walked out of something. And then you expect yourself to be all happy and free, because now you're free. You expect yourself to feel all good. But no, this is when all the emotions that you haven't been able to feel and process before is coming, of course. So you walk out and you're free. And then the fear comes, and then the anger comes, and then the grief comes, and joy comes, and the fear comes, and the confusion comes, and everything is coming then for you, in you, to be processed. So I'm just saying, it's good to be aware of what's going to happen when you walk out of the prison. It's the same as if you take like a homeless person and put it in a safe, nice, cozy, warm apartment. It's not going to be all, happy at first. It's going to be unsafe and maybe want to walk out again. And because all of the traumas that's been stuck that haven't been able to process because it was in survival mode all the time, that's going to come up. So this is important to know. Otherwise you will feel inclined to walk into the prison again, right? If you expect yourself to be happy when you walk out and you're not feeling happy, then your brain might think, oh, I'm not happy, but then I should walk back in. Because that all felt safe and I felt, and that felt familiar. Yeah, it feels familiar because it's your past, attachment system, your past programming. And also sometimes to be in survival mode is easier to be in life mode. If you're not used to be in life mode, then it's easier to be in survival mode. Survival mode can be easy. Then you know what to do. It's just to survive and to suppress feelings and to be aware of that you're under attack all the time. You're familiar with that. So that's, can be easier for you. But then you walk out in life. You're like, what the fuck? I don't know how to live this life. How am I supposed to be free? Or how am I supposed to feel normal feelings? I'm just used to feeling fear or anxiety or anger as a protection. I don't know how to feel love. I don't know how to feel happiness or gratefulness. I have no idea. No, shit, I don't know. Fuck this, I'm going inside again. I'm going to the prison again. So please don't. Please know that when you walk out, all the confusing feelings will come. And just know that it's normal. Do not step into the prison again, even though you will feel the pull. Why do you feel the pull? Because it's familiar. You will feel the pull, but don't trust the pull. It's just because it's familiar. It's because you think it's home. So know that, no, this is just a part of the process. I will feel all different kinds of emotions and I will be confused. Confusion is because I don't know how to live. I don't know how to live. I know how to survive. I don't know how to live, and that's okay. That is okay. It's also okay, again, to be grateful for the present. Everything is okay. It's just a process. And as I said in the other video, I think if you try to fix yourself in this process, or if you do things too fast, you will disturb the normal process of change or normal process of healing. So let yourself feel whatever there is and process the emotions, and just let them go through you. And then you will notice that if you don't disturb the natural flow too much, you will go through the natural stages more fluently. So yeah, often again it's fear when we come out confusion, then we realize what we've been through and about the kidnapping situation, so to speak, and then it's anger, and then it's grief, maybe because of the loss of the prison, and that's also okay. You miss the prison because, you know, it was your safety once, or you miss a person, you miss a workplace. It's okay. You need to process grief, even though you were in a really horrible prison. You still need to be okay with it's okay to grieve the prison. Don't be ashamed. And then there is a process maybe of letting go, or of anger again, or fear again, and then some joy also. Just let everything happen. And eventually, you know, some getting acquainted to what it is to be your own person again, what it is to be more free in yourself and to feel more empowered, actually. Because many of us who have been stuck in a prison where we've been scared, what we've actually been scared of is our own power inside of us. So unconsciously, this is important, unconsciously, we chose a prison because we are scared of our own power inside. So we locked ourselves in, and then we blame the kidnapper. I'm not saying in real situations that we want to be kidnapped, like if it's a real kidnapping situations. This is just a metaphor of like how when you're scared of your own power, you make sure to choose a partner who's gonna distinguish it, or who's gonna diminish it, who's gonna control it and want to kill it. Or you want to make sure to choose a workplace who's gonna do the same, or a country is gonna do the same, you know? So take accountability for, oh, it's not about them, it's about, I am scared of my own power. I am scared of what I can create in this life. I am scared of my own love that I can give and receive. I'm scared of all the, you know, forceful life force things in me. So that's why I imprisoned myself, and that's okay. So that's what's going to happen when you walk out to the life, that you will be scared again, and now it's time to face it. Don't walk back in. You can do it. You can do it. Process your emotions. Know that it's okay and that you're scared of yourself. But if you persevere and if you don't go back, it's a discipline work. Don't go back. You will be rewarded with, you know, being more accustomed to your own power, to your own way of loving, to yourself, to again be comfortable with yourself. That is about the journey. Comfortable with yourself and who you are and what you want to shine out to the world and what you want the world to give you. It's about being accustomed to that because you are so used to something else. You are used to a past programming, and this is the time for a shift for you. So to summarize, don't expect happy, fluffy freedom feelings when you walk out of a prison. Expect it to be hard, which is why you always chose the prison and walked back, because it's easier with survival mode if that's the environment you were born into. Of course, survival mode is easier for you, and to live your life, or to actually be in life mode is more difficult. But I assure you, if you do this, if you persevere during this process, life mode will be a lot more fun than survival mode. So I wish you very good luck on that journey. If you're in a situation of being in a prison and on your way out, and Please comment if this resonated with you or if it didn't. And thank you very much for listening, and more content coming up, and have a good day. Bye.